Okay, so here we are with David Batstone, our next guest at the redM Summit 2020. So welcome, David.
Really a pleasure to participate in this event. I think it's got great potential.
Yeah, I think for us at redM, you've actually been there at the beginning of all of our starts. So there's not that many, but when we started working with Redeemed originally, you were there for as the speaker, and then we started Red Talks last year. You came and visited, so it's great to have you on the first 2020 summit. So it's good.
Well, thanks. The reason I do it is not just, there's plenty of places to go and talk about human trafficking and, you know, quote unquote awareness events, but really what motivates and inspires me is finding ways that professionals who have skills in other areas like marketing or finance, or that they too can be a part of a movement. And that's what I love about our redM. It's reaching out to new communities to, exponentially grow the movement.
I think that's where we match a lot, because your work. Maybe you can do a quick summary of the bottom line for what you've been doing all these years. We don't need to go deep into everything because people can
Yeah.
search that. But what's your kind of driver in all the things that you're doing?
Well, why don't we start as a foundation that everything I thought I knew about changing the world was wrong. If you want to change the world, you start a charity and you ask people to give you a donation and volunteer their time. And I love the sincerity behind all that, but it's terribly ineffective and it doesn't scale. And so if you care more about actually solving the problem than you do about starting your own punk rock band with your name on it, then it's not about ego and logo anymore. It's about really effective change. And I just had to admit after 5 years that I was running a charity that was not really being effective, even though outside people thought we were one of the top anti-trafficking groups in the States, but United States, I was just so discouraged by our lack of impact, to be honest. So I said, okay, my background is I was a venture capitalist before I started Not For Sale. And I said, why is it that when it comes to changing things I care about, I forget everything I know about building value in the real world? And so I decided that I would then take capital, talent, and technology to start building enterprises that would, in the DNA of the company, bring about the change I wanted to see. And then at the same time, fund the activities that I believed in with Not For Sale, intervention, services. But that was at the end of the day, it wasn't the foundation of the whole business model of what Not For Sale is.
Well, we've had a very similar path as we've been going along, in that we get a lot of talent who want to only do great things, and I think that's a matching thing that we have with you, where a lot of the people who come to us are not people hoping to learn or wanting to just put their life into charitable work, but they actually love doing like really high quality product. And so I think that's probably a match. I think there's something to describe you as is someone who really understands the reward that comes through business, because you've actually chosen to go down that high value product road.
Yeah, one of my latest companies, David, since we last talked, is we're recycling batteries that come out of Teslas and laptops, and lithium ion batteries, which are a huge toxic waste problem.
Sure.
But also they're a huge virgin mine. They're taking minerals out of the earth, and we're digging lithium as fast as we can find it. So it was like, well, what if we could somehow change the way that mining is done, have a better environmental impact, and then also mines are the number one cause of exploitation for people in the world too. So what if we had a people planet company? So okay, to do that, I went out and recruited some of the best people at Tesla, the best people at Facebook, the best people and now they're fighting human trafficking. They're fighting environmental degradation. Well, they go, yes, I am, but I'm doing the job I did at my old company. I go, yeah, but now you're doing it with another kind of purpose. So I think it's the bringing of those things together, where you're not feeling like, on Sunday you give a tithe, or at the end of the year you give a year-end donation, but you're able to find a purpose that is embedded into the very skill set you do every day. So that's your goal, I know, with redM, and mine as well, Not For Sale.
Yeah, I think, and I like this. I like seeing you going into that kind of renewable area as well. We have a few people already in redM who are looking at hydrogen or looking at wind applications and saying, hey, this is a time to take business and actually apply it and attach it. And so I like that. I think that's an opportunity for all of us to look at what else. So I'll tell you, here's a question for you that comes up a lot when we send people, say, hey, have a look at what David Batstone does, because often business people come and they're looking for ways to engage. And I think the question that often comes to me, and I would send them your way all the time if we have this opportunity to actually tell people, how could they engage with you if we have people who have interest in business ideas or things that we could be doing? What's the best way for that to happen?
Yeah, I guess, you know, it was really interesting what recently Elon Musk, of course, who is not a bad entrepreneur in his own right, uh, you know, he said that, you know, we should have this tradition where when you're having a baby in your community, you have a baby shower for the family. He goes, we should have a business shower
Mm.
for entrepreneurs who are starting businesses, and very intentionally say, okay, I'm going to either invest in your company, I'm going to be your customer, I'm going to help you find channels of distribution from my network. I'm going to, and so I guess it's more rallying around each other, instead of just saying, oh, good luck, but you know, I'm not going to buy your shoes because I'm a Nike guy, but
Right.
rather say, oh, you know what, I want to start investing in the ideas of the people around me. So yeah, you can help me. You can be my customers. You can be my investors. But also, I guess it's a call to help each other to get out of the box of there's only one kind of job, and that's to go work for a company who will give you a salary. But let's start, you know, there's a whole generation of entrepreneurs that can use their talent and their ideas to change the world. And I want to see those happen. I'm not trying to be, you know, the white savior on a horse here. I hope that other people say, wow, I love what he's doing. I want to do that too. And then you find immediate support among your community.
Mm, that's good. I think there's work there. We'll challenge our teams with that. How do we get these businesses to connect and to take on active roles? There's always something. I think there's always something in business and everything we do that we can add the right angle to be improving the planet and ourselves on the journey, you know.
Yeah, and David, I think it's really challenging rigor and discipline. I'm a professor of business, as you know, as well.
Mhm.
And I feel that sometimes people who come out of social movements or religious movements, when we say we're going to start a company or a social enterprise, we think that we get a pass just because we're doing good, or
Yeah.
that it's done from a good. We don't get any pass. You know, we have the same competition, we have the same metrics around, you know, the customer acquisition costs and all the things that go into retaining customers. And so I guess it's understanding that, and I know there's a lot of business people that tap into redM and just say, you know, don't like sacrifice your brain just because your heart's open now, but
Right.
let your heart do the feeling and your you know, your head do the feeling. So
Mm. Yeah, we often look at ourselves as a development group. Like we're trying to help people find their path, and everyone kind of has their superpower, the thing they're really good at, the stuff that we're okay at. Please stay away from. That's kind of one of our one of our theories is please avoid the things that are average in your life. And I think we like the business direction because the rewards are clear and you can do something good when when your business is growing and it is working and it's not scraping and borrowing and begging. And so there's definitely an energy around our organization that goes towards how do we do more.
yeah.
So it's let me ask you a question that this comes up a lot as well. We have some good entrepreneurial people constantly got ideas, and then we have our operational people who constantly want us to stop having ideas. How do you cope with that? I know you're similar. You're an ideas. I know hanging out with you that you have new ideas. It's if someone isn't used to being around someone like that, they think that you're being invited into something special, but it's just your everyday that you're always saying, how about this? How about this?
Yeah.
How do you manage that personally? Your kind of idea generation to actual business.
Well, it's funny because my staff used to say, you know, David, you have all these mind babies. Just remember, someone's got to raise those kids. And
That's
I
right.
think it's a really appropriate in terms of marrying the discipline that it takes to start a company and to grow it with the scarcity of resources and time that's available to you. So
Mm.
I guess I'm getting smarter as I get older, more or do more of this. Is that I say no a lot more,
Yeah.
but also I think it's partly getting to it's about humility. It's a great spiritual gift, humility, to be
Mm.
able to say, you know, I might have the idea and I might get it started, but I don't need to control it, and I don't need
Yeah.
to wake up every day doing it. And there are great people out there with operational skills that they love getting up on Monday morning and figuring out how to, you know, take it to another place.
Mhm.
Whereas it's almost important for people like us who are more idea generators and uh, to know what your skill is and know when to get out. So
Yeah. That's
now,
good.
you know, I think I'm on the board of 10 of my companies, and CEOs run it. I don't try and micromanage them. I just see where I can help out in terms of, you know, you know, are there things in my network or in my capacity that I could do to help them, but I don't own them. It's almost like being you know, a good parent really, is that your kids go out and you maybe you have something to do with them coming into the world, but they're on their own now. And so I think I wish a lot of people who started NGOs would come to the same place where they realize that they may be the biggest detriment to the
That's good.
ongoing mission of their enterprise.
Yeah, we the company I work for, we do acquisitions. You know, one a month. We're very acquisitive, but that idea of who's a better owner is a good one. And there are people who start companies who shouldn't stay, and there are you know there are people who are lucky they made it that far and they probably should stay. But it is understanding what's the best owner, what's the best place for something to be, and how do you grow things, because it does get stagnant. Things can get stagnant very easily if you don't watch
And
that.
I find I'm happier doing what I love, and what I love to do is start an enterprise and stay with it for about 2 years, and then go on to the next one. And
Yeah,
um,
we
that's just where that's my gift, if you want to call it that.
yeah we talked in the conference about that. That's a subject of when you're doing something you're made to do. It is not tiring. But if you're getting exhausted, you're probably doing things that maybe you shouldn't be doing. You know, so it's that knowing where you fit and when.
Well, I think that's where the burnout comes, doesn't it? The burnout comes is when you feel like you're trapped, you can't get out of it, and there's no more energy anymore.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
actually we've had a theme throughout on burnout. Funnily enough, to the people who work in the space as well as those who are helping, and we saw it. We saw it in the early days of redM. Or you were the first. I'll say gala. I usually say gala because I think that's probably the right way to say it. But never mind. For the gala that you spoke at, we had burnout. We had a ton of people who were just like, okay, that's enough, and really didn't come back. They're just starting to be more interested in coming back, but we didn't take care of people in that process. We used them, and I think it's better to find out where people fit and understand the gifts that you have. So yeah.
you know, Dave, it's funny. It's because it, if you look at most, say, whether it's anti-trafficking or other cause-based organizations, charity organizations, almost, you know, I would say 90% of the time, the people who are leading it are the people who started it.
Yeah.
And that model doesn't work in the business world.
Mm.
It doesn't work anywhere else. And so we shouldn't expect it to work in the nonprofit charity world. So I see, even in not for sale, my role, even though people say identify me as not for sale, I've got a whole leadership team that are daily running that thing. I'm like the one who kisses the babies and, you know,
Yeah.
does the big talks when I need to. But it you should be my kind of, whether you're a business entrepreneur or a social entrepreneur
Mm-hmm.
in doing charity and business, your job, if you're starting these things, is from day one finding a way to get yourself out of it,
Yeah.
starting you know, building leadership, finding operational structures that make it's counter ego,
Mm-hmm.
but it's about the mission, not your ego, you know.
That's good. All right. Well, that's great. I appreciate you being involved in this summit. And with that, we'll just say thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing
Absolutely.
you at our next one. So,
That's great. You know, and we showed the Rebel film. The Rebel was the beginning of and I just want to let people know that was an experiment, David. We had no idea if it would work, and I never anticipated it would end up being one of the top beverages in America. And you know, so you never know whether something is going to be just an experiment or a success, and I've had a whole range of both.
Well,
But
I
it's
think
just
you
keep,
I think you do this well. I think this is a seed thrower, you know, is that you throw seed because I think I was with someone with you and they said, hey, oh, I think he wants to do that. And I'm like, well, he's a seed thrower. It's okay. Maybe or maybe not. If it lands and it grows, yeah, he does want to do it. If it doesn't, he
yeah,
doesn't mind.
exactly.
There's no
It
emotion.
doesn't go anywhere. No, exactly. No, you're exactly right. And to your point, someone like if I have an idea of something, I'll just say, and if they come back to me 3 months later and they've done something with it, then I go,
Right.
okay, let's take a little bit further. But if it didn't, it fell on hard turf.
That's right.
That's what me. I'm like, you're right.
That's
So
okay. Yeah, yeah. Seed throwers are generally liberal in their ideas because there's plenty of
yeah,
them.
very generous with our ideas, very
That's right.
generous with our acceptance of it. But
That's right.
doesn't mean that we're going to be there to help you grow the tree. It's up to you
Yeah.
to idea.
That's great. Well, definitely our next summit, we're going to have you physically here. We're going to work on that. So,
Can't wait.
yeah,
I'll be there. Believe me. I love redM and I love what's going on in Houston.
great. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.